This is the Sprinter Mom with Lashes On podcast.
I popped the bottle. It has started. Welcome back to Sprinter Mom with Lashes On podcast. We are live from Las Palmas in Rocky Point, Mexico with some of my favorite women. And we thought we would get together just to chat a little bit about life and friendships and trips with our children and all of that. So if you would like to introduce yourself, that would be awesome.
I'm Kathleen.
You have to use the microphone.
First time.
We don't know what a microphone is.
First time guest, long time listener.
Yeah. Kathleen.
I'm Grandma.
And who are you?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Or many names.
Many names.
I'm Lindsay. I'm sister.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Allison. I'm the homeless single mom they picked up on the side of the road.
So we actually have all of our families here, and sadly, Allison is the one who is husbandless because
He's in Texas.
he works out of town.
Morbid.
We tried to get him to come. He thought it was important to keep his new job.
100%.
So she's along for the ride. It's going to be great.
It is. It's been great.
It's going to be great. One of the things that I had asked the ladies and that we were talking about earlier with my husband is we've taken trips with our kids and without our kids. But with our kids, what has been a vacation fail? Could have been the whole vacation. It could have been an outing on the vacation, like an activity. There's been a couple times that Ryan and I have reached high. For example, one time we were at Disneyland and our kids were exhausted and we thought, you know what? It's time to go to a restaurant and eat dinner. It was at the end of the day and we stopped by the Rainforest Cafe in downtown Disney, which talk about stimulation. And we thought, you know what? The Rainforest Cafe is just going to distract the kids. So this is going to be great. We're going to have a great time. And it was a dinner from hell. The food took almost an hour to get out. We finally asked them just to package it. And the kids were crying the whole time. It was awful. It was awful. And afterwards we laughed about it. But in the moment, we were crying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of my fails. Kathleen?
Yes. I actually have many. As a single parent, I was like determined that we are having vacations like any other families. And so we were in Hawaii and we all love horses, horseback riding. So we made the 3-hour trip, got lost. So it should have been an hour trip. So we finally get to the horseback riding place and the winds are ripping and it starts raining and they give us these trench coats to put on and
like hailing
it started hailing. It was just
and Ryan's
so
like
awful.
so allergic to horses. Got it like wrapped. I don't know what he wrapped around he wrapped something around his face.
It was so horrible. We couldn't wait for it to be done. So it was like a 4-hour trip there and then back home. And
No, on the way home, then we get in a car accident.
The last day we got T-boned and so we were determined though. We left that very next day to come home and I think that qualifies as one of the worst.
That could be a fail. I will count it.
But we do remember it.
And we
with
still love
fondness.
horses.
Yeah,
Yes.
we do. So
Is that a 2-for-1 right there?
No, Aunt Lindsay can share.
Oh,
Go,
okay.
Aunt Lindsay.
Yeah. Well, we are now starting to embark on family vacations. We've done a few quick ones, like to Sedona. We're going to where am I going? Cabo and Ensenada this summer. I am taking my almost 17-year-old son on a cruise, and I'm quite nervous for that. Hopefully that we all come out alive, but we will. But yeah, I think family vacations are very important. We've had a lot of fails, but we haven't had a ton of experiences yet, so we're still working on it.
I mean, we had a major fail this last one. We just went on a cruise in spring break. And our flight was delayed from Houston to Orlando. And we always go a day early for cruises. It was a cruise. We all came back okay. So you'll be fine. I think we're all alive. So yeah. And we did not know if we were going to make it. And we were flying United. Oh, maybe I can say, hopefully I can say that out loud. Okay, great. And we were supposed to leave before the gate next to us, and they were all going to Orlando, and Orlando was just a crap show. It's like all of a sudden they didn't know it was spring break, and everyone in the world was going to Orlando. So everything was backed up. United gave our crew to the other crew, to the other flight, and so we were delayed like hours and hours and hours and hours. It was awful, and we just didn't know if we were going to make it in time for even the next morning. So our son Ryson is 11. He has autism. He was done. He was done. And so he is running through the airport in this section. He's like, I hate humans. I hate them. and then he says, excuse my language, this is effing stupid. And said the whole word.
No.
And I'm like, don't say that. I know you're upset and I want to say that word too, but we're not saying it. Calm down. So we finally get to Orlando at like 3 a.m. We are at our hotel, and then my 17-year-old daughter has an epic meltdown because she didn't bring some of her skincare. It is 3:00 in the freaking morning. We're tired. The stress level is so high. And she's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to bring her all week long. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And my husband is a patient. He's patient as Job. And he looked at her and said, what's going to happen when something really happens in life and you're acting like this over skincare? Go to sleep. And I'm like, the security's going to get called on us. We all need to be quiet. I'm like, Eliza, you're not even going. I'm looking at flights right now because I'm going to send you out of here. You're not even going on this cruise with us. That's how intense it was. Like, it was so intense. And so she lays in bed next to me and she's like, you're going to regret saying this one day. I'm like, we're all going home, damn it. We're all going home. We're not going on this cruise. I don't care if we lose all our money. But we went, we had a great time. And Eliza said it was the best vacation ever.
Oh, such a memory.
But that's how we started. Did I say sorry?
Did she say sorry?
No, I said I was sorry. She didn't. Because I was yelling, he was yelling, Ryson's cussing. But it was great. So anyways, moving on.
I love the cussing. How old is he?
11.
Yeah, well, you got to say the words when you feel really strong about certain things. One of the things that Lindsay said, I would like to point out, and I think it's a great example. So you said you're just embarking on vacations. One of the things, and Kathleen, you were a single mom for, most of it. And I know I grew up in a family that we went to California once a year because we could drive there and that's what we could afford. Yep. But it was all about like family time. And so what are some small things that you guys have done? Like you said, Sedona, like what are some small things that you've done with your family to feel like it's maybe a staycation or something? Like, are there other options that you can do? Or like here, I love driving 4 hours to be on a beach. You don't have to fly and it kind of takes some of the stress away. What are some things you could do as a single mom or as a family on a budget that would be helpful for people?
I mean, I definitely, we definitely made it a priority to at least do one trip a year, whether it's like a weekend away, to San Diego or, doing like VRBOs or, staying at like a more affordable hotel. I would last summer we went to Sedona and we stayed there for I think like 5 nights. And having a teenager he was 15 then, but he's 16 turning 17, you almost start like panicking because you feel like you're like losing out on like moments and memories. And so last year we went to Sedona and it was just the 4 of us and we would play games, family games. We made dinner together. We, I don't know, it's just those moments that you get to actually like have conversations with your kids. And especially my son now, teenagers are hard. They are, you don't quite get prepared for what's going to head your way. Especially as a mom who is co-parenting with another parent, there's a lot of things that have happened, and you're not quite prepared for it. But if you actually get like these vacations where you can have one-on-one time and really just like have those like really like personal conversations where they actually open up, that's my most favorite. So my son didn't get to make it this time around because he's a working boy, but we love our one-on-one time and our alone time, even if it's just like a night away.
And I would have to say, like, I feel like especially teenagers, or the older our kids get, they talk less when they're at home or like around buddies or different things.
Yes.
But then if you take them out of that environment, or even put them around family friends versus school friends, where they can be more of themselves and open up to grandparents. Like, I think that's one of my favorite things, is like watching my kids interact with their grandparents on vacation. Cause it's like, it's a different time to be around, to have conversations, and it's really special to them, which is super cool. Okay. Friendships. So we are here on a trip together, friends and family. What would you tell your 20-year-old self? I mean, we're all over the age of 38 here. I'll just say that. We're all over the age of 38 here. Yes. When you look back at your 20-year-old self, maybe the friends you had, what would you tell yourself now that we are the age we are? What would you tell yourself about friendships as a female at 20?
I would say, I would say it isn't the number of friends that you have, like how many girlfriends, it's the quality. So I think if you end up like with 3 or 4 compared to 20 acquaintance friends, you're doing something right.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. I always say I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
Yeah.
Because it's just more valuable. I mean, like you said, I think less is more as you get older. And I think in your 20s, it's like, let's just be friends with everyone, which is fine. But the older you get, the closer your circle becomes, or tighter your circle becomes, and the smaller your circle becomes. And you want people who understand your life and your family and your whatever, your ministry, your job, your business, whatever. And so finding those people, it's very rare. And I would tell myself it's harder to make friends, I think, as you get older, because your life is so crazy. So holding on to those friendships that are life-giving is really important than just trying to be friends with everybody, because we all have very busy lives as moms, and work jobs and all the things. So
yeah, I mean, as a 20-year-old, your focus is different. Your focus is not on family. Your focus is not on your career. You just have other priorities in your life. And for me right now, my circle is very, very, very small. But that's how I love it. I love that I can, have a moment with somebody where we can just be quiet and understand, what each other are going through. And we just need to like be there for one another without like any conversation. And I personally need that so much. I think, all the noise and all the stress and that you go through as an adult, you just need like someone that understands you. And whether that's one person or 3, you're able to like invest in these people. So tight circles are good.
Yeah. I think I've realized the older I get that friendships can change, but I also have realized that I can find value in every relationship. And so I do think there are like seasons of friendships when they're like really strong and we're always around each other, or we're at the games together because our kids are on the same team or in the same classroom. Like, there are moments for that. And just because I may or may not see you now as much doesn't mean I didn't value everything we did and the conversations we had. It's just here I am at this point in my life, and things change. And I think that's okay. And I think the older I get as a woman, I'm like, I don't think you have to be like big into like female power and all this stuff. I think you just have to actually just respect women for where they're at and what season they're in. And that's okay.
And I think it's okay to say like, it's okay to struggle with the seasons and not knowing like which people belong in what season, or feeling like not regretful, but just feeling guilty, just to try to incorporate everyone all at the same time. And it's just not possible. You have to, prioritize, I guess.
Have you ever been around? I think the hardest thing for me is it would be really hard to have friendships or relationships with someone that it really hates their husband. Like,
I think we all have been there.
And I think there are times where you don't like your spouse, or where you go to counseling or do things to like help your marriage. But I also think I would really struggle being with friends that weren't about it. Like what was it like, Kathleen, for you, like being single and having friends that were married?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you when you would do things together? Or is it awkward? Is it like...
That's a great question. And I bet every single woman for sure goes through this. So I would say you have your friends, and there aren't as many as the other group, which unfortunately is true, but they are not threatened at all. Like, they want you there. Their husbands want you there. You can be the third wheel, but I never felt that way. We were part of a family, and we did trips together and weekends together. And I just didn't feel like the third wheel, or feel like, I was after their husband. That's the other half. It's like, it could be neighbors, it could be acquaintances, and they see you as a threat. And it's like, they don't give you the chance to even make the friendship, as they already count you out. Like, you're trouble. You're out to get their man. So, but you learn, that right away. And so, I mean, I think the friendships that I have that are, like I would say, accepting of who you are, they become lifelong friends. Yeah. To this day.
I had a friend group that I actually stepped away from for many reasons, but one was that, one of the queen bees of the group would just talk horrible about her husband all the time. Like, and would talk about other men, like, oh, he's so hot, he's so attractive. And like, for me, I just made me really uncomfortable, because I want to be around. Now, it's okay to struggle in your marriage when you're in a friend group. Like, that's why we have friends, like, to help one another through those hard times. But if there's like a disrespect towards a spouse, and it's constant all the time, it's something I don't want to be a part of. I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want to hear people talk bad about their husbands, even in front of their face, and emasculate them. And so it was something I even like just stepped back from, because it was just not life-giving. It was uncomfortable, and I didn't like it. And so I just started to slowly back away from that group, because it was one reason.
And that's a slippery slope, because the more you're around the negativity for anything, how quickly you can go down that path, or that your mind just starts going there. So you're like, you can't even put your mind in that direction.
Right. And I don't talk bad about my husband to my friends,
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear you talk bad about your husband at all.
Yeah. And I think we can poke fun at them.
Yes. There's a knife's edge there that, can go either way.
We can poke fun at them, but I think there's a boundary of I can poke fun. I learned that the hard way. I used to like joke with Ryan about like, things you experience in your marriage, and you'd be like, oh, haha, this is funny. And we would laugh together. But then like when I would pull it up as a joke in the car ride with friends on our way to dinner or something, and it would cause a fight. And I was like, oh, I thought we were laughing about this. And it was like, there are some things you can laugh about in your marriage, but you don't then take to the other people around you and laugh out loud.
Very true.
You have to be very careful.
Yeah, it's a learning curve.
It is a learning curve. It is a learning curve.
But I also think on the flip side, like, if you are going through hard times and you need to vent, you need to have that one person that you can be vulnerable with, and you can trust them to like not speak about it outside of your conversations, but to be around toxic couples. I've definitely experienced that in my life, and I think you live and you learn, and then you learn what you want in your life. And those people are probably not the best to really give your world life.
Okay, last question, because we're here, moms with mimosas. My mimosa's almost out. What would be, if you could do anything, dream vacation with people or no people, and favorite vacation drink? So my dream vacation is, well, I would say it's actually anywhere with the kids, because I like seeing them experience new things, and I'd really like to take them. Ooh, actually, I am so nerdy, and I know a lot of people like love the ocean and the beach, and like we've done some great things. I'm like, I so badly want to take our new family, like all of us, to Disney World and like let the little kids go to Disney World, even Disneyland. But like, I'm just like, that's my dream. And Ryan thinks I'm so cheesy. And I'm like, I don't care. I will walk around and cry and look at the castles and the princesses and all the things. And then I will order a gin and tonic with a little, maybe a flower in it, an Empress gin. It's purple and pretty. And that's my drink of choice. But yeah, I'm really trying to convince him right now because I want to get them there.
I would love that. So my favorite vacation, this sounds kind of nerdy, is just with all the family together. All the babies, the grandbabies, you know, it doesn't matter how old they are, they're still the babies. And I could picture us all in like Italy, just experiencing something new.
Put it out there, manifest.
I know, we got it.
Okay, I'm there.
With a dirty martini
Oh.
and 3 olives.
That's a great one.
And are they blue cheese stuffed?
Well, I think so. It has to be.
That's a great idea.
I absolutely love, family vacations and whatnot. But my husband and I have never actually taken a vacation, just the two of us, in our almost 10 years of marriage. And we're going on a small Cabo trip, adults only, in about a month. And I'm really looking forward to just having like some just personal, intentional time for a few days where we can really reconnect and, really just like, it's like, it kind of like restarts your marriage and you get excited all over again. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm a Pinot Noir girl. So, I don't care. Pour some red wine in my cup and I'm happy.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That's what we love about you. So my dream vacation would be with my family, and we would travel Europe, like see all the cool like castles and London, Paris, like do all of that. Ryan and I wanted to do it for a really long time. I don't know if that will ever come to fruition with all of our kids, but eventually we'll make it over there. But that's always been my dream vacation, is seeing Europe and all of it. And my vacation drink, well, it really depends on where I'm at, but I like anything with vodka and elderflower and grapefruit. I know, it's so fancy. Elderflower.
There is a vodka with elderflower.
There,
and
ding,
grapefruit.
ding, ding. That's what it is.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies. Cheers to our last full day on the beach. It's going to be great. Yes. Moms and mimosas. Woo!
And protein water.
Thank you, Sarah.
Ladies. Good job.
Thanks for joining us today for the Sprinter Mom with Lashes On podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you next week.